Hi, my name is TaRyan Batts. I'm a student of Dr. Deanna Stevens, Women of Psychology class, SOP 3742, spring of 2020. My presentation is on being transgender in today's society. The article that I have chosen is about transgender women expelled from South Korean army found dead. In today's society, it is hard just being gay. But coming out as being trans is like putting a target on your back. So imagine being in the military where the don't ask, don't tell has just been lifted and you come out as being a trans woman. So this presentation will be basically about the pressures of being trans in the military and the pressures of being trans in today's society and what it takes to be trans. The relevant course concepts that relate to the article is Chapter 4, Beyond the Sex, Gender, Binary, and Chapter 12, Gender-Based Violence. In Chapter 4, it talks about heteronormative assumptions, and the meaning of that is that there are only two genders, boy XY, girl XX, meaning that boy XY it shows prenatal masculizing hormones, which means that I am a boy and I like girls. And XX chromosomes means that I have no prenatal masculizing hormones, which means I'm a girl and I like boys, which in the traditional sense, that's the way society looks at it. But in today's world, there's no just I am boy, I am girl. We have trans men and trans women, binary and non-binary. And in chapter 4 on transgender identity development, some transgender individuals come into life questioning their sex. And some grow and feels as when life goes on that they were meant to be in a different body or their mind doesn't match their body. Everyone eventually develops a gender identity. For trans individuals, the process can be especially difficult because of discrimination, stigmas, and prejudice. But in mainstream society, it made it very clear about what a cisgendered woman should be, i.e., the expectations of what a woman should be. The process of developing a transgender identity, it takes time and can be highly stressful. I've chosen chapter 12 because of the gender-based violence, which solely relates to the article that I have chosen. In the article that I have chosen, a trans woman was killed after being discharged from the military and fighting for her rights to get back into the military because she felt like they falsely discharged her, stating that she had a mental illness because she cut off her genitalia. But gender-based violence is violence motivated by anger, hatred, or bias because of a person's gender, and that's exactly what happened in the article. Not saying that the military has done it, but being that she was fighting for her right to get back in and she was all over social media and the news, it could have played a part. But you know this chapter related to the article in many different ways. Another area of this chapter that related to the article really well was war and violence. According to the chapter, women and children account for 80% war casualties. And, many people see military action necessary for global safety, but that is not always the case. Soldiers rape and attack civilians, and the attackers are mostly men. And on a military base, the military is supposed to be here to protect the U.S. citizens, but yet they have rapes on the base, attacks, and female deaths. Um, and these attacks, when especially when they are against other soldiers, or even not even just the transgender soldiers or whatever, these attacks can lead to depression and anxiety, which can possibly be a reason that someone can get discharged due to PTSD. Whereas for future considerations, I think there should be more education in schools, in the workplace, everywhere on LGBTQ. I think the bias within the military should come to an end, because people are people, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender. People are people, and especially within social media, because that's where the most of the slurs or the backlash come from. But um, as far as the military goes, even though the Don't Ask, Don't Tell was lifted, it didn't stop the discrimination or the violence against the LGBTQ in the military. So therefore, I feel as if the military should implement some policies towards accepting gay, lesbian, and transgender within the service. And with the more education, they should have more education within the school systems. That saying, reach one, teach one. For everyone you reach, you will teach. You know what I'm saying? You teach one, you teach more. Um, I feel as if you teach people at an early age, or teach people at an early age, as they grow, the hatred will not be as tough. But it all becomes within the households. So without the parents being on board, there will always be hate. And as far as social media has came a long way, especially when it come down to the LGBTQ. Social media, they have many platforms to help. To There's groups to support the LGBT. There's all types of things on social media that can really push forward the future when it comes down to the hate against transgender. But it's only so much social media can do. It all deprives from the household. And as adults, we should all try to learn instead of the mean. In conclusion, the soldier was beyond his song. She fought for her rights to serve as a trans woman and died doing it. But in the process, she has gotten the district court on board with giving more respect to transgender individuals within the military. And also, the Korea's National Human Rights Commission has also put together a campaign in honor of Hisu to help trans individuals fight for equality in the military